Hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to our morning market update for Friday, December the 15th of 2017. We were just talking in the trading room about how quickly time flies. And if anyone knows where time has gone, let me know so we could go back and get it. In today's morning market update, we're going to talk about the tax plan and a little bit of uncertainty that's starting to build up around it. And we're also going to talk about something that's called the quad witch, the four witches and what they mean. Yes, we are still going to talk about trading. It's a trading term, in fact. The quad witch is known as Freaky Friday. So let's get into it. All right, so first and foremost, let's cover some earnings events of last night. Adobe's up about a percentage point after hours on digital media strength. So their digital media business is growing. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. You say it and try it if you don't believe me. Digital media business. Maybe it's not. Costco's up 2.3% after hours with strong sales growth as well. Oracle down 6.3% after issuing weak cloud guidance. So their cloud business is not doing as well as they had expected. Let's take a tour of markets around the world overnight. In Asia, Japan's down 0.6%. Hong Kong's down 1.1%. China's down 0.8%. India's up 0.7%. So we see weakness across the board in Asian markets with the exception of India. All right, in Europe at midday, London's up 0.1%. Paris is down 0.4%. Frankfurt is down 0.3% as well. So that weakness is spilling over into Europe, and it's on a Friday. In the United States, however, Dow Jones is maintaining and holding its overnight rally up about 0.4%, 0.3 rather. S&P up 0.2. NASDAQ up 0.3%. Crude oil up 0.8 of a percentage point, back up into the high of its resistance. It sat in the range pretty much for a long time. Bitcoin's up 7.7% to 17,806, and gold trades to 1260, back up. In fact, 1264 is the high on that move, and it's seeing a little bit of strength, but that strength is relative to a weak drop in the market. So I think this strength is going to get shorted into. Be careful on gold. I think we're shorting rallies at this point rather than buying weakness. All right, let's talk about the final tax plan of the Republican Party, of the GOP. This is what they came up with. This is their darling. This is what they've worked on. This is what they want to pass before Christmas. Will it pass? I don't know. I'm not here to answer that. However, I'll tell you this. The final details will emerge today, and there's two important questions that hinge on the successful passage of this bill. Question number one is on money. How will Congress gather, how will the government in total gather $1.5 trillion that it needs to fund this tax bill? It's going to cost $1.5 trillion in order for it to be tax revenue neutral, which is a whopping amount. That's a massive amount of debt or expenditure to commit to. All right. The second issue is that it actually remains unclear if there's enough support to even pass this bill to begin with. So I'm going to read you in the last 24 hours senators that have said they're not sure how they're going to vote. Marco Rubio, he's the first. All right, Bob Corker, obviously. Bob Corker just despises anything that Donald Trump does. All right, if Donald Trump flipped and said, this tax bill is terrible, Bob Corker would say, I'm voting. So, Bob Corker. Mike Lee, Jeff Flake. But the last name like Flake, you can't even rely on the guy anyways. Just kidding. I don't know him. He's probably a wonderful person. And Susan Collins. 5 senators are saying, you know what, we don't know how we're going to vote on this. So if they don't know how they're going to vote on it, we don't know the outcome of how it's going to be voted on. And if we don't know the outcome of how it's going to be voted on, we don't know what that means for the market. And the market got nervous and started to sell off yesterday to close week. All right, so yesterday's equities open strong, close weak. Today you're going to get, if it was any other day than the quad witch, I would say today would be a down day to follow through, but it's not. And I'm going to be very careful here. I'm going to take a very cautious tone. The quad witch, let me tell you what the quad witch is first. It's called Freaky Friday in the business. Some traders absolutely love this thing. They get out of bed and they said they have a witch hat on the side of their desk and they put it on their head and they go to trade the quad witch. I'm not one of those. I don't like the quad witch. I'll explain to you what it is. So the quad witch is, there's 4 things, which is quad, that expire at the same time. All right, options on stocks, options on the indices, so stock index like S&P 500, NASDAQ, futures on indices, futures on stocks. Does anyone really trade futures on stocks? I've never traded it in my life. I know very few people that do, but some people still do trade futures. One of them is Apple. You can actually buy futures on Apple. I don't mean that. So there's four. So there's really just three big witches, and these three witches are really powerful and affecting it on a Friday. What ends up happening is because all these contracts expire at the same time, today is the decision day for those contracts. All right, if you've had a position you've been hanging on to for the last 3 months and you've buried it in the closet, well, you got to whip it out today and sell it and get rid of it or be assigned. If you're in the money, you have to sell before you get assigned the actual underlying for any derivatives that you own. If you're not in the money, then you might just let it expire worthless. So what we're talking about here is wherever the market's at, the strikes that are closest or the levels that are closest above and below that market, those will be the most volatile. And what ends up happening on a quad witch day is, even if there's a trend, if price is going up and it hits a level, let's say you have a short call strike right here. All right. So what happens? So what happens is as the price approaches that short call, traders get worried that they're going to be assigned on it on the very last day. So what do they do with the short call? They have to either buy back the short call or buy the futures in order to hedge their position. So they buy the futures, everybody buy the futures, it'll pop. Now that the buyers are done, it'll come back into the range. Quad witch Fridays, get this for me, are super, super choppy. They could be ranging, they could be trending, but they're choppy as heck. You see a resistance and it breaks out and you're like, oh, this is amazing, it's going to move. It'll move a couple of points and slam right back down to the resistance. Do not rely on a breakout today. Do not trade breakouts. Trade ranges, buy pullbacks. You're not looking for breakout trades. That's very, very dangerous on a quad witch Friday. Take it from a guy that's traded a lot of these, and they're never easy. They're opportunistic for the opportunistic trader. You're going to get moves. That's the exciting part, but they're not predictable moves. You can't say, hey, look, here's a nice support level. It's going to hold, because we're not trading on support today. What we're trading on is position size and what kind of book that institutional traders have. Does that make sense? Think about an institutional trader with a massive position. Does he care that it's his support? Heck no, he wants to dump because his contract's closing out at 4 p.m. and he's got to get rid of them. So what's happening today, the quadruple witch and a rebalancing trade, it's going to get volatile. It'll get choppy. Don't get frustrated today. Here's my pro tip for you. When things get uncertain and there's volatility without any kind of direction, that's kind of like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got a lot of volatility, but it's nonsensical volatility. It doesn't help you because it's not predictable. It works against you. All right. So here's how you trade a volatile quad witch Friday. Step number one, trade less. Dedicate yourself to 2 to 3 trades as a day trader and be out of there. You don't want to be hanging around on a Friday at 2 p.m. trading, do you? Nobody in a professional institution does that. After 11:30 on the European close, the only traders that are around on the desk are the newbies. That in the morning we're getting coffee for the traders, and now they're like, oh yeah, we got a desk to sit at. All right, so everyone else at the bar or going home or whatever they're doing. So step number one, trade less. Trade less in terms of frequency and trade less in terms of time. Be gone by 11:30, trade less position size. Or, well, trade less times, less number of trades. And tip number two, I already spoiled it, let the cat out of the hat, is trade less size. So reduce your position size and reduce your frequency, and you're in good position to profit, because you're going to be in a scarcity mindset. You're going to say, where's the one trade that's actually going to move? And you're going to be patient. That's my tip for you. You guys enjoy the Freaky Friday. It could be fun. There are times where if I don't feel up to the task, I don't even trade it. These used to be my days off once a quarter. I don't get them anymore. Now I got to trade. But, I mean, I don't have to. I get to. I love this business. So you guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in this whole week. We got some exciting stuff happening next week. So be sure to tune in again Monday at 9 a.m. All the best to you and your family. Happy holiday shopping. And remember, just because it's a holiday doesn't mean you got to max out that credit card. You got to pay for it in January. Yeah, I'm not a good gift giver. I haven't done any Christmas shopping myself yet either. I'm relying on Amazon this year. You know, Amazon drivers are working a crazy amount of time. I was reading an article that they're expected to make a certain amount of deliveries. I think 150 deliveries a day, or else they're not allowed to go back to the office. Isn't that crazy? That's a lot of work. Poor guys and gals. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I got to turn around and open up the trade room. All the best. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday. Stay out of trouble. And please just promise me to do the 2 things to survive the Quad Witch Friday. The Quad Witch bites a lot of traders, especially newer ones. All the best. Take care. Have a good weekend. All right, trade pros, let's do this. Let's trade the Quad Witch. She's been a friend of mine recently. The one thing about the Quad Witch, you will have opportunities. You have to